Fire and fury rage at the Delphic Wall. The final wall of the final fortress will not keep them out. Fire howls and fury roars. They scream and shriek in unison, in frenzied partnership. They encircle the Sanctum Imperialis and throttle it, squeezing their psychopathic fingers tighter. Fire blisters the citadel armored skin and melts its steel. Fury claws at its stone, abrading it and opening fissures. Together they gnaw away the last proud circuit of the wall, and the last void shields, and the last battlements and casemates. Relentlessly, piece by piece, fragment by fragment, they grind the Delphic down. Nothing stands forever. Even the mighty Delphic must eventually succumb and break open, like the hard shell of some delicacy, or the dome of a skull. Then the fire and the fury will dig inside, scoop out the soft meat within, and feed. Their hunger will not be denied. Nothing stands forever. To be a defender on the last wall is to be a soul trapped on a mountain ridge as a firestorm roasts the world alive. Everything is flame, everything is noise. All around, wall gun emplacements, terraplanes and turret unleash a torrential pelt of shells, beams and projectiles. But as fast as they rain death upon the traitor host, they drain the Sanctum's dwindling munition stocks. Batteries burn out, their system unable to maintain the intense fire rate. Autoloaders system jam inside the walls. Macro last weapon overheat and blow out the gun boxes and partisans containing them. The enemy assault delivers an equal and answering bombardment from low. Their munition supplies seem inexhaustibles, swarms of missiles, constellations of fireballs and seething lances of energy remorselessly mold the defensive ring. The Delphic void shields convulse under the onslaught, the walls glow. The host below is uncountable beasts driving uncountable siege machines up the ramps of their own uncountable dead. Scaling ladders climb like vines, grouping for the summit, replaced as fast as they are burned away or levered back. Siege engines fight and jostle to suckle at the ravelins and outwork parapets. For each one that topples, victim of the wall guns, another dozen roll through the burning wreckage to take its place. The booming voices of the enemy's worn horns are a weapon in themselves, drowning out the burst of shells and the detonation of explosive rain, bursting eardrums, turning guts to jelly, grinding sanity into a pulp of wet terror. From the battlements of the last wall, the enemy below is a sea, a deluge, an engulfing ocean of hatred and rage. In its black swell, a billion baleful eyes glare upwards, a billion voices scream obscenities and blasphemies. Not all are human. Some once were, some are warp-bred and never born. The demons charge and flock, squealing and baying, swooping at the wall top on ragged wings, bounding at the wall foot on cloven hooves, beating under ancient stonework with bladed fists, plunging through their own allies to reach the last wall and sunder it. Nothing stands forever. Yet for some of the defenders, it feels as though they will stand forever. Nasiramit, called Flesh Terror, struggles to master the impatience in his heart. He has been standing motionless for 9 hours. His company, designated Denial 963, is drawn upon the reserve stages of the wall's inner level, below the casemates and fighting platforms. He has 83 men, all are blood angels of the 9th, though they did not begin this war as this unit. They are all survivors of the Eternity Gate, squads and sections of decimated companies recomposed as a makeshift new one. Denial 963 is one of 20 companies being held at readiness on this wall section alone. They are armed, they are plated, they are oathed, but their moment is yet to come. To Amit's right waits Denial 774, a similarly patchwork company of white scars commanded by the worthy Amheda. To his left is Denial 340, a unit hastily woven from salamanders and iron hands, commanded by a wolf of Fenris called Sartak. Amheda is as still and silent as a myth, but Sartak paces in front of his ranks, muttering and cursing. They wait, all of them, all 20 companies. This has been instructed. These are their orders. They wait, even though the wall shakes below them and the voids ripple overhead. They can hear the roar of artillery emplacements along the fighting platforms above them and see the flash of fire sprays bursting against the parapet. Sartak stops pacing.
Where is Onfleur?
He snaps. He gazes over at Abnett.
Where?
He snarls. Abnett makes no reply. The Space Wolf's lack of discipline annoys him, though he shares his frustration. To stand and not to fight feels wrong. But those are the orders. Praetor Captain Onfleur of the Imperial Fists has command of the section wall. And his orders were both clear and utterly in accordance with the principle of siege repulse set down by the Praetorian. Until the enemy achieves scale or breach of the Ancient. The defense of a wall line is the province of the batteries and wall guns. There is little that a warrior, even an Astartes legionary, can do on the fighting platforms. Until the enemy arrives in person. Until then, to commit all forces to the parapet is to lose men to enemy barrage for no reason. So they must stand, held in reserve on the comparative safety of the staging levels, waiting for the command to come. It is a bitter contradiction. Abnett yearns to fight. He yearns to close and kill. It feels wrong to be standing here, waiting for war, when war is only a few hundred meters away. Abnett wants to be unleashed. But if that desire is satisfied, it will mean they have lost. It will mean the batteries are spent and the voids have failed and the ramparts overrun. For Abnett's wish to be fulfilled, the enemies must invade the final fortress. And so they stand, his company, and so many others like it, longing to fight, yet willing the order not to come. For when it comes, the siege will be over, the war master triumphant, the last sanctuary violated. Abnett and men like him will no longer be fighting to win or even survive. They will simply be fighting to punish the triumphant. However much Abnett wants to fight, he does not want that one. He tries not to wish for it, however heavily and thirsty his sword feels in his hand.
Where is Onfleur?
Sartak bawls. He hoists his war axe onto his shoulder and strides over to Abnett, until they are nose to nose.
Where is he?
The wolves growls.
That fool! We stand here forever! Nothing stands forever, brother.
Abnett replies unmoving. Sartak backs with a frown. He thinks about it. The grim logic dawns on him. He starts to laugh. The mordant laughter of resignation and death glory Abnett has heard so often from Sartak Legion.
Good,
he says.
That's good. I like you, Angel's son. A dark wit. Damned if we do, huh? Damned when we do,
says Abnett.